And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and we are going to be doing a live stream. We want to discuss the update. There is so much happening with the update right now that we wanted to kind of chew through it for a little bit and go through each and every section so people can have a clear understanding. So if you're out there, go ahead and shout out and chat and say hi. If you have questions about the update, throw them out there. Know that I've limited how many questions you can ask to one for every 30 seconds, so we kind of give everybody a fair shake to do that. And I got a huge panel. I got at least, I think, 6 or 7 other people at least. They're all patrons of mine. That means they help support the channel. Recently, we just got a green screen set up, and this is all thanks to the patrons. That's kind of what you see behind me is this green screen. You really can't see everything else, but I've got like 4 different umbrella lights and a couple other kinds of lights, and I've got multiple screens, and I just hastily threw it up because I was that excited, like a kid on Christmas morning. So everybody, one at a time, if you guys just want to go through one at a time and go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's go ahead and we'll go with George first. Why don't you introduce yourself, George?
Hi guys, I'm George from the UK. Don't know if anyone else there is from the UK, but probably been a patron for what, 5 days now? And I'm living it so far.
All right, and so that's George, and then Han Cholo. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Are you on? I got a couple of people muted, which is a good thing. If for some reason they step away, they can come back. Han, are you on to introduce yourself? All right, Mark, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I've been a patron for a couple of weeks now, and I'm trying to get bigger, trying to get my my guild through, and it's been helping being on and being a patron.
Awesome. Really quick, tell me what's been a benefit. I mean, you haven't had a chance to have a roster review yet, and that's kind of the catch, right? Everybody wants a roster review. But, so what about the community that is so great that's actually caused you to feel like it's benefited you?
So I sort of help run our raids in our guild and setting up what is going on in the raids and being able to ask questions about that and getting feedback very quickly, as well as getting comments and feedback as to different raid groups or different raid teams that work well, and being able to go back and look at the different roster reviews as you post them have been extraordinarily helpful.
Okay. Awesome. The roster reviews, do you watch other people's roster reviews and get anything out of them?
Yes, and definitely.
Cool. I know a lot of I get comments. It's kind of cultic. It's really cool. Some people don't like them, and so my viewership actually goes down on those, but I'm not worried about it. I actually don't care about the viewership at all, because for those few, like 3,000 to 5,000 people who actually watch them, it greatly impacts them, and they get to see everybody else where they're at and kind of the strategies I build for each person. I'm not, you know, the all-seeing, all-knowing. I kind of give the best of my best is what I think they should go for, and it's different for every single person. I think if you've watched them, I know a lot of people that watched my first ones, what they were is I basically went through every single character for every single person, and they were like 30-minute roster reviews. That was a bit lame. So I really now tailor them specific to the player. I consider whether they spend money or not, because my suggestions might actually include spending money. I did that with a couple of these reviews that haven't been publicly released yet. So let's move over to Nathan. He's a patron, and he's going to help me probably with questions, as well as he was on my last live stream. So what's up, Nathan?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I'm back. I'm Nathan. Been playing the game for about 2 months now. Been a patron for about 1. I just really enjoy having access to a bunch of people at the top of the game to power through all the updates when they get released and figure out how they're going to impact what's going on.
Awesome. And Ryan. Ryan, can you unmute for a second and introduce yourself? And he may have stepped away. If Ryan steps in, he can...
No. Sorry about that, man.
That's all right. No, you guys should be muted if you're not chatting, so we don't hear your background. So good on you.
No,
Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryan.
You know, I'm been playing the game for about 16 months, I think. completely free to play.
Nice.
Pretty much just got hooked on it. Can't stop. It's pretty much got me into Star Wars. So all the way from New Zealand, by the way.
That's awesome. What time is it right now in New Zealand?
Oh my god, it is 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 a.m. and you're up watching? This is crazy.
Over the day off, work weekends, so I kind of have a free week. It's pretty good.
Man, weekends are there for a reason. And then lastly, for now, many other people may jump on, and when they jump on, we'll have them introduce themselves. But we have Tommy Race. He's been one of my longest standing patrons, and he is extremely active on the Facebook page that has nearly 30,000 players on it. So, Tommy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tommy, also Nero from Dark Lords.
Yep.
Nice to see you guys.
Awesome. So there's a bunch of people just shouting out where they're from: Germany, Italy, New Zealand. There's just a bunch of people. The first question that I see is they want to know how to solo the Rancor. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix the update with some questions. And so really quick, because the Rancor has to do with updates, why don't we just really quick go over that. Does anybody have a team that they're using that they believe will help them get really far, if not solo, the Rancor?
Free to play, so no.
Well, I suppose the original idea and what everyone has to find a way to replace now is that for the longest time, there was a bug on Vader's Zeta where the 20% turn meter reduction would stack every phase and allow him to just sweep through the entire raid, because it would be 20% reduction in the first phase, then 40, 60, 80.
Yeah, it was like a train, right?
Yeah. And I've seen some people that are able to do it with Vader, but it's much more RNG dependent in the later phases, whether or not you can get the hits often enough. And you really want to group him with your fast characters like a TIE fighter pilot. And the other strategy that I've seen people try to do are to just get a lot of strong characters that are independently removing turn meter, some type of comp with a Rex, a Jyn, a Tebow, and a Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yep. So Darth Vader can still be a lead for this, and you could still use Sidious. A lot of people are using him for the expose. But a team that I ran before the update that I'm actually continuing to run has Biston and Jyn Erso in it, because Biston can remove for his potency up to 100% turn meter pretty easily. And then Jyn Erso, of course, she raises her potency every time she crits, and so she can remove 100% turn meter as well. And not only does she remove it, she actually gets it, and it helps her to take another turn immediately thereafter. She's kind of critical. You really can't auto it anymore. I don't know of anyone who has autoed. I think one person posted to Facebook where they autoed it, and man, it was like the best RNG in the world, and it still took 20 minutes on auto. I think for the best sake, you're going to have to take your time going through it. Side note, I just got my pit rewards for this morning. I ranked 27th, and I got a full stun cuff. What? I'm so excited.
You're so lucky.
I know. It seems like when I do crappy in there and I don't try, that's when I get the best rewards. So the update, a lot of people we're starting this evolution, this journey with Jedi Luke. Hopefully it leads to Jedi Luke anyway. And they're talking about kind of Farmboy Luke. He's the start of this journey, and they've got an event, this flash event that's going to kind of come, pop up for a short period of time, and then go away, and then pop up for a short period of time. And there's all these rewards of gear and stuff. And so I'm guessing the gear is to gear up him. And they said they were going to, probably do some sort of a gift and things like that in the update. So what do you guys think? Should everybody be gearing up, or at least be focusing a little bit of energy on the Luke Skywalker that's currently in the game, Farmboy Luke?
I'm personally a bit scared about that one. I think maybe they just winding everyone up, and then they give us Luke in like a Palpatine type event. Give us Jedi Luke, Everyone's wasted all their gear on Farmboy Luke.
I almost wish they go ahead and couple this with a rework, because if they're going to be pushing us to invest all this gear in a character, I'd like it to be a character that at least has some sort of arena raid viability right now. And Luke is just kind of a worse glass cannon than Rey in every situation that you would want to have him.
Good point.
That's true. I'm going to mute the game so I don't have you guys trying to talk and Theorycraft over the sounds of me kicking major butt in Galactic War. So let me mute the audio.
Oh, look at that move right there. How are you going to get through that?
Oh, man, with a Chewie lead, I'm telling you, Chewie is OP. He's so OP. All right, so, hey, what's up, Myst Passiert? He's one of the game changers as well. I actually invited him onto this call. He's welcome to click the link that I sent him in our private Discord channel, and I would love to have him on here to chat and talk about the update. Someone asked about, did I know about the bug with the mods? So yeah, so it kind of got leaked that was happening, and there was mixed signals. Some people were saying that it was intentional and it was for the 25th. Others said that it was a break. And I unfortunately was driving home, and I thought, man, when I get home, I'm gonna test this thing out, right? And then at 70 miles an hour, my tire blew and went across 3 lanes of traffic and almost died. So yeah, that was my evening when that happened, and I was on the side of the road trying to change a tire with a tire wrench that wasn't even the right size. It was super fun. So did any of you guys catch on to that?
Yeah, I did that. I heard somewhere, of course this is unconfirmed, that they're not going to be able to roll it back on anybody, but the person who originally posted it to Reddit or the forums that it was happening actually got banned. Of course, that's unsubstantiated. I have no proof of that.
Well, we could see, they can look up the person and click on them and see what their status in forums is. But if that's the case, that's kind of messed up, because he's the one that brought it to their attention and prevented them from losing like 1 trillion credits in a couple hours. You know, those credits are worth money to them, you know. So yeah,
I didn't have that many mods to use it on, but one of my roommates estimates that he saved 120 to 150 million by hitting all of his mods up to level 15 with that.
Yeah. So a guy asks, what's the potency required for T-Bow if you're going to use them for turn meter reduction? Oh, and side note, another really crazy team you can do is have T-Bow in there, right, for the stealth and all that, but put R2-D2 in there with him. I know a number of people that have been doing that, and R2-D2 keeps him stealth, and so he takes it out. But as far as potency goes, I would suggest about 80% is probably about the safest bet when you're going against the Rancor in Heroic.
What about T-Bow and Bustan? Any chance of that happening?
T-Bow and Bistan both. That's a great team. I mean, there's a bunch of turn meter reducers. Look at Grand Moff Tarkin now.
Yeah,
yeah, he's ridiculous.
And Magma Trooper. I've seen Magma Trooper used as well.
I think the big change is that you're less of a Vader plus your 4 fastest and strongest Empire damage, and more just, okay, what are the best 5 independent turn meter removal characters in the game right now, and how do I configure them with the correct leadership to go as far as possible?
Right. So what about the update has you guys excited?
Sorry?
What about the update has you guys excited?
Oh, what about the update?
All day.
Let's see, I have the list right here. I have the update right here in front of me if we want to just start going down the list.
Yeah, just start going down the list and start talking about the update, and we'll pause and we'll chat at each section.
All right, so the first top of the list is mentioning the 5-day festival that they're going to be doing at Double Rewards, starting out this Thursday with Light Side, Friday's Dark Side, Saturday being Galactic Wars mod battles and mod challenges. So don't forget to save your Galactic War on Friday and on Sunday so you can take advantage of doing 2 at the double drop rate. Then Sunday you have Cantina nodes, and Monday they just combine it all together and you get everything double rewards in the game.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see with the double drops, if that's just going to be twice as good drops, because of course we already have the 100% drop rate for mods, or if that's actually going to be every mod challenge you do, you get 2 mods from, which would be ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure because it's 100%, I mean, you do 8 battles, you get 8 of them now. That's a standard moving forward. And I think that's an awesome standard. And so when they say double drops, you're safe to assume that that means when you do 8 battles, you're going to get 16 mods, which is crazy. Now, the good news is they are giving a bunch more mods out. The bad news is the drops I noticed back, 4 months ago when you would buy mod packs or you actually got mods. When you were farming for them or when you bought them, you got a lot of 5 dot and really, really good. I noticed now they give you a ton, and the packs give you a ton, but the quality of the mods that are dropping are definitely decreased significantly. You still can get good ones in there, but it's not as prolific as it was. I remember anyone who bought the old mod packs knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I noticed last night I actually saved up and did 20 health challenges because I haven't unlocked that many challenges, but 20 max star health challenges at the same time. And I think out of the 20 mods, there was only 4 or 5 that weren't grays.
Right. And I got a couple of speed yesterday, even 2 speed secondaries green. So they rolled up to like, one rolled up to 7 and one rolled up to 9. And I'll tell you, you know, that's not like a 20 speed, but dude, if you can get, you know, around 10 per mod and put it on characters with a 30, you're adding about 80 speed on every character. And I think that's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, right after they released the update, I did a refresh because of course you got the extra 100 refresh and did 8 mod challenges. And first set, I got a 30 speed.
That's crazy. I'm going to do something real quick. You guys chat. I got to send another update to an individual, so hold on one second.
All right. So I guess if we want to just keep going down the list while he's doing that, the next section is the 40th anniversary gift, which is going to give a yet-to-be-determined number of Luke shards in addition to 1 million credits, a combination of Mark 1, 2, and 3 ability mats, a set of Omegas, and a set of training droids. And I think this is a big thing that they're releasing out in addition to the Flash events that we'll talk about later to really push, like we had discussed, Farmboy Luke. I really hope that this means there's going to be some type of rework because he's just an unexciting character to gear and level up right now. He's not going to add much to your team. He's going to be needed for these events going forward.
I guess unless you sort of need him to unlock Jedi Luke in the future or he's going to rework, surely they wouldn't do it.
Or maybe they just think that Jedi Luke is enough and they don't need to give him a rework because his quote-unquote rework is going to be you getting Jedi Luke and then casting Farmboy to the side.
Yeah, I guess if he's sort of in the way you use Rework to unlock Palpatine or whatever, if he's Farmboy to unlock Jedi, I guess it'll be worth it, won't it?
I think it's interesting that the update emphasizes that he's journeying to become a Jedi. And they promise more in August, which is probably not literally August. At least I hope not.
I'm really hoping whether it involves getting Jedi Luke or not, that we're looking at a new raid coming out here in the next few months because Hat was fun, but guilds are starting to get that locked down now. I'm kind of looking forward to the next challenge.
I'm being 100% real here. I think Jedi Luke is going to be transformed from Farmboy.
Well, you think it'll be the same character? Not the same team?
So you think it'll be a rework?
Same character, same gear, same mods, but then you evolve him.
I got like 2 live calls going and I'm trying to connect everybody in the same one. Oh my gosh. Ermagerd! Why does it always got to be so difficult?
All right. Next thing on here. Grand Moff Tarkin. His new rework now has 2 Zetas, I believe, as well as an additional ability that he didn't have previously.
Correct. 2 Zetas.
What might be most exciting is his AoE, which has 100% chance to remove 50% turn meter, and with the way his character is set up, he's always going to be at that max potency, so you're probably going to be looking at worst, an 85% chance to remove 50% turn meter off of every character on the other team.
Maybe. Oh wait, another link? Boy, you're spamming us with links, boy!
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
For those who don't know where that 85% comes from, when you compare potency to tenacity to how effective a character is going to be at resisting a buff, you're always going to at least have that 15% chance to resist, and no amount of potency is going to be able to take their tenacity below that.
Nukin showed a picture of Tarkin doing a 40k AoE. I wonder what scenario he caused that, because a guy in my guild, the highest he could get with 3 stacks was 15K.
Ahnald! What's up? Ahnald T101 is on the call. What's
Come
happening?
on, let's do this. Someone said Magma Trooper.
Yeah. This is the first time we've been able to get you onto my live stream. I'm so friggin' excited. If we can get Myst Passiert on here. Yeah, I'm super stoked, man. So we're just talking about the update. We're going through, they're reading the update, and then we're kind of analyzing and discussing. I haven't done any analysis yet because I've been trying to get you guys on the call, and I don't know what was happening. I think I created 2 calls or some craziness.
Yeah. I had to hear a YouTube live stream because the audio is a bit delayed. I'm hearing you in the Google Hangouts, and all of a sudden 5 minutes later, I'm hearing you say this the 5-minute old thing on YouTube. So got it's like an audio orgy going on over here.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy if you do that. You want to mute it. Evan, are you there? Myst Passiert?
Yeah.
I thought I saw his picture in there. All right, let's go ahead. Next update.
As I figured this would be the place to hop on the live stream. You got a nice audience. I gave Tarkin his Zeta for the leadership, and I'm feeling horrible remorse right now. I need you guys to help me out here.
That's awesome. Why do you feel remorse?
What?
Let's say you get that exposed, like I've been trying to do Palpatine. When you use his let the hate flow, he immediately triggers that expose, which is awesome. But then Rex or Chase or Kenobi, they cleanse it 2 seconds later, and all you're really stuck with is the plus 30 speed, which is essentially what he had before the rework. So I'm kind of feel like I'm using an old school Tarkin leadership, which is just the speed bonus, which is cool and all. But I don't know. I'm feeling horrible remorse. I wish I gave it to his unique instead. So I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I tried about 10 different leaderships, at least 20 different squads, and nothing seems to be sticking here.
So you know what team?
Did you say that, Ahnald, before you did that last video?
What's up? I think Director Krennic as a leader, and then having him there with the Imperial Troopers team would be awesome. And Myst is on, I think, now. Myst, what's happening?
Hey, finally I got into the right call.
No, that's what I've been thinking, Director Krennic, and that's why I wish I'm almost at Gear 11 from. I'm almost at Gear 10. Then there's that hump at Gear 11, and I wish I didn't give the Zeta to Tarkin's leadership and instead gave it to his unique, and then eventually down the line give to Director Krennic's leadership, maybe perhaps. I used it in Galactic War yesterday for 2 rounds, and it's great. It works great in theory. I'm not sure how it would work in Arena because there's not enough speed going on. But the irresistible ability blocks would really help against Captain Rex, Chase, Kenobi. But yeah, I feel like I wasted my Zeta mats on Tarkin's leadership. I got excited, had a bunch of ideas going on, and on paper, it doesn't seem to stick in Arena right now.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So I've got actually a shard mate in my shard who actually runs a Zeta Vader right now on his squad, and he takes top 5. I mean, he can make it up into the top 5. He beats Rex squads, he beats the Maul squads, and he threw in Tarkin without the Zeta, obviously, because Viewership, I think. And I got he sent me a video of him fighting my Arena squad, which I run the Triple Cleanse, Rex, Chase, General Kenobi, Darth Nihilus. And his squad pulled it out. Tarkin was throwing out buffs, and it really wasn't super effective, but Tarkin hits pretty stinking hard, decently hard. I mean, pretty much the main thing that he loses the advantage of is not being able to get the his debuffs. So like the offense down with his potency up, that ability is kind of rendered more or less useless with Triple Cleanse.
Yeah, it is.
However, with Zeta Vader, a lot of people are going to have those dots on him already, so he can pretty much just focus on his basic and then unleashing that ultimate unlimited firepower, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that work in theory.
Yeah, I definitely think a Director Krennic lead is the way to go with Tarkin.
Yeah, I'm really excited to check that out. I mean, yeah, just those triple cleanses, man. But it's so hard to penetrate through all those the tenacity up, the cleanses that'll happen like 2 seconds later after you apply it. Like my Tarkin's pretty darn fast, I have him at like 220 some speed before even his leadership, so he's at 250 some speed. He's pretty early in the battle. I've defeated Qui-Gon Jinn teams. Those are pretty easy teams to beat. Darth Nihilus teams are so easy to beat with Grand Moff Tarkin leadership Zeta because they don't have any protection. So the second you do like let's say a half a point of health reduction, they all are exposed right away. I sent a screenshot to our group chat yesterday about that. So Darth Nihilus teams are going to be a breeze, but it's just your typical chase teams, your Kenobi teams, R2 teams. They're a lot tougher, and granted, most teams have a difficult time beating them, but all these debuffs, I mean, they're great in theory, but I think Director Krennic is definitely going to be the best way to go, especially with the irresistible ability blocks. But I'm not sure about Tarkin leadership. That's why I'm feeling horrible remorse, and I wish I went with the unique instead.
All right, Nathan, do you have the next update?
So that brings us through Moff Tarkin, and now we're looking at the new style flash event. What does everyone think about this style of the 1 to 2 hours on and then disappearing for unknown amount of time?
Was it clear in the update? I couldn't tell that it's the same event that reoccurs, or is it different types of events that reoccur?
I think the way that the verbiage on it, what I'm understanding is that right now it's the same event, but they're using kind of multiple event language to suggest that there's going to be other flash events in the future. But right now it's going to be the same triple attachment event that's coming and going and coming and going.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got a couple concerns about it yesterday with the fact that it shows up randomly for a very short period of time, so a lot of people might not be able to catch it because of work, school, other priorities, and whatnot. So, I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, it's an extra event, but yeah, just the fact that it's really randomized and there's no set time, I think that kind of throws people off. Because this is a game where they expect something to be there for a couple hours. They know what the payout time is, so they get into arena at the right time. With events showing up randomly, I mean, you're going to have people missing out, that's for sure.
I think it's going to be a fun guild activity where it's like, how can your guild communicate as a group to make sure that as soon as one person sees it, the information is passed along so that as many people as possible have the opportunity to jump in.
Right.
So one thing that I do want to point out, and that this was a response I got from a dev, and so once an event expires, you will have the event countdown for the next occurrence of that event.
Oh, that's nice.
In game. So like right now where it shows Ahsoka, the Ahsoka event is what, like 8 days and like 12 hours or something like that away, whatever it happens to be. Once the first flash event ends, it will show a cooldown, so to speak, or a timer to when the next event will show up. So that is another way that people can make sure that they're, staying on top of, okay, well, it's noon right now, the last flash event just expired, but my cooldown or my timer just says that the next event's going to be in 5 hours. So I know I got to get on at 5 p.m. or whatever to try and get the next event occurrence. So you'll be able to see when the next one shows up. But my guild did create a Discord channel just for the flash events.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. The communication's going to be a big deal, and I know a lot of people nervous if it pops up for an hour or two and you're in school or you're at work or you're at whatever or you're driving or you got a blown tire on the side of the road like me the other day when the mods thing happened. I'm like, what? Mods are free right now and I'm on the side of the road almost dead? I'm over-exaggerating. I didn't almost die, but you just go with it, man. Just go with it.
Warrior never dies, man. You're invincible.
Yeah, no, not really. I actually went across 2 lanes of traffic, and literally it was pretty nervous, man. I was like, hey, that tire was not supposed to do that.
Wow.
And then we also got some data mine information earlier today about the requirements for the events. I'm not sure if that's something that we want to share in here. Certainly the last thing I want to do is get you in trouble, Warrior.
Data mined means that somebody else scraped it and it's out there and it could be changed at any time, and they've been known to change things coding wise at the last minute. So we can talk about data mine stuff. That's public knowledge now at this point. It's out there on Reddit. I can't speak on the validity of it because, like I said, anything in game can be recoded, rechanged. We know this with all of the changes that they're doing with Newt, the changes that they're doing with Kylo. We're calling them changes. So, yeah. But they can do them pretty quickly. I mean, the mods thing, that was a change, and they did that within an hour. They got that changed in an hour. Jeez.
I'm actually curious if it ends up being that the bug that happened with the mods is related to them changing the drop rate that came out later on within 24 hours of the bug happening.
That's a possibility.
So what we're looking at, and again, we have no way of knowing how valid this is going to be once the event actually goes live, but is that there's going to be 4 tiers to these flash events, and in order to complete all 4 tiers, you're going to need a 6-star Farmboy Luke and a group of 4 Jawas that are 5 stars or higher.
Yeah, so Jawas and Luke, and you know, a lot of people are saying that they haven't done anything with Luke or Jawas. Well, Luke's not that difficult, and it doesn't sound like we got to get him up that high. And who knows what they'll do for the 25th, which is the 40th anniversary. So hopefully there's some generosity in there. And so I'm pretty excited about that. But the Jawas, I'm kind of surprised to hear the community balking at that. Like, don't you need them at least superficially high enough to, you know, to get the critical damage mod sets? Yeah. I mean, and they were, when the AAT tank raid came out, they were like a big deal, you know, let's get our Jawas up. And everybody spent time working Jawas for their droid team in Phase 2, and I guess I'm surprised because my Jawas are all at like gear 8, so I'm probably the one who drug my feet the most of everybody that I know. But shouldn't the community have like spent something into these guys by now?
And I think definitely eventually you do, but for the new and even the mid game, I mean, even when you talk about what are the 4 pillars of this game, and you say Jedi, Empire, Rebels, and I believe you've always said droids was the 4th pillar. And
I do, and this is why that's the 4th pillar of the game. Even though there's no event that specifically unlocks an amazing character with droids are and have been one of the cheapest groups to gear. And when you're free to play, you got to gear something up quickly and fast as best you can. You got to get to that gear 9 or 10, and these are the characters that are going to do it quick. Plus, they're heavy hitters, so it gives a team someone that they can use in Galactic War to kind of at least have a secondary team to chew through some of those harder nodes. So it's a staple in the game, even though it's not like the Jedi who are going to unlock Yoda or Empire who are going to unlock R2-D2. They're still one of the, like I say, 4 pillars of the game because they've been around for a long time, and guess what? They've been reworking everything, so it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. They're going to get a rework at some point, I would foresee, and when that happens, those people who invested in that pillar of the game are going to be ecstatic individuals.
I've always said that the droid pack is the best deal in the game.
Oh, it is, unequivocally. It's like, what was it, like $20 or $25, and you get like 3 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get a 4-star. You get a 4-star HK-47. You get a 4-star IG-88, and a boatload of shards for your IG-86.
How much is a boatload?
How much is a boatload?
Somewhere around 50.
Okay.
Yeah, 25 or 50, I think, is the number they put on that.
I still think the Dooku pack was the best when I first started. It was
$5.
like $5, man! You can't beat that. That's the Walmart of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
That pack was random. Yeah, that pack was random, and when I got it, it was Darth Sidious, and I remember thinking, oh, he looks cool, so I ended up leveling him up, and then he was a turd for a while. Yeah, and then they did his rework. They did his rework, and I had him up, and I was like, what? I love it when you work on a character, get them all leveled up out of ignorance because you're new, and then they suck, so you set them on the shelf, and then they do a rework, and all of a sudden you're like, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Yeah, that's how stand for the Imperial Trooper. I had him geared up since like March of 2016. They've been just sitting on the sidelines for a long time. They're not the best right now, but they're still a lot of fun to use. So I know what you mean by that.
Yeah, that team looks like fun.
It's definitely fun. I mean, I already kind of ranted about it. They need some help still, but the Jawa thing, I totally agree with you on the Luke thing. I mean, I got a couple of my Jawas. I mean, a lot of people have Jawa Engineer to Gear 10 because of the droid reasons. Droids, I mean, I know Smithy D is kind of against us on this point. I remember he made a free-to-play guide or something on Arena way back when, and he told people not to invest in droids, even though a lot of people like us say they should. But I think, yeah, droids are really those people that you really need to gear up all the way because they're quick to gear up, and you can use them for the AAT raid. I've gotten decent damage in the Rancor raid. Arena, they're amazing, and in order to make them work, you got to have Jawa Engineer, and most likely, you know, a lot of people recommend you need critical damage mods for the droids, so you probably farm the other Jawas. So I would think that a lot of people should have Jawas farmed and geared up a little bit. It's probably just the newer players that just started the game a month or 2 or 3 that aren't on the Jawa level for this Luke event. But I think, yeah, the grand majority of people probably have at least some useful Jawa that they could use for this event.
So what's the next update, Nathan?
The next update, we have 3 notes in here that kind of go together, and they're talking about what they're doing for Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, by the way, was released a little over a week ago. I think we got the information. Warrior did a video. Go watch that. It's great. She's great. So we're going to have a marquee event for that runs from June 2nd through June 6th. And they're doing kind of what they've done for marquee characters in the past, where they do the bundle pack that gives you the 80 character shards, in addition to a little bit of credits, droids, and ability mats. And then they have the kind of crystal pack that's going to give you they've now raised the cap to 330 shards you can possibly get if you like your 1 in 10 million odds of doing that.
So that pack is worth it. Let's talk about it. But I mean,
yeah,
$20.
You're saying that there's an Ahsoka pack, kind of like before, for 80 shards?
Yeah, 20
for 80
bucks.
shards. So I'm assuming it's going to be a $20 pack. So that's definitely.
I can see that being really popular.
It's a booster pack, and then after the booster pack, there's going to be those $12.99 packs for 5 with a chance of 330, aka a pack of 5.
Yeah, that's like the definition of clickbait in terms of Chromium packs, not packs, or just packs in general. I don't think anyone reported 330 shards dropping. I mean, not everyone uses Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure there's not many people out there who spent money that got 330 shards. If that was possible, go for it, man. I don't think that's gonna
I am
happen.
going to test that, and I'm going to try and get my 330 shards.
I mean, I think you said a while ago, you're going all in for Ahsoka, right? I'm not sure if that still stands.
I am, and I mean, it's because of who I develop. You know, everybody's got their faves. You're Empire all the way. I'm a Rebels person, and so for me, it's been like heaven for the last 6 months, and for everybody else, it's been a nightmare. But for me, it's been awesome, and she's going to fit right in to the Rebel teams that I have developed, and so I'm super excited. I'm going all in. Grand Moff Tarkin looks amazing, and I think in the right composition, he's going to be ridiculous. But it's like you got to choose, right? You got to go one way or the other. You can't do both unless you're a millionaire. So you got to figure it out which way you're going.
One thing to note about the 80 character shards in this pack is, if I remember correctly, looking at the Phoenix 1 squads, when you finish the marquee event, you would be left at 3 stars with 15 out of 30 for the 4th star, and you would always get the pack, and it would give you 25 or 30, and it would put you to the 4th star and give you some random amount. But if that number that I remember is correct, then this 80 shards will give you the 15 to get the 4-star, and then 65 left to put you exactly at that 5-star mark with this pack.
Right, exactly. They do a good job with those packs. I mean, if you're not a spender, you're not that person who spends any money in the game, then don't buy any of those packs. Like, that's the deal, right? But if you're a dolphin and you spend a little bit of money, that $20 pack will be worth it. I guarantee it. They're going to have all the gear, all the everything, ability mats you need to get her to, like, Gear 4, Ability 4, all that. So it's worth it. And if you're a whale, of course, you don't even need my advice. You're going to do what you want, and you're going to buy a lot of stuff. So, but those types of packs are worth it. I think people get frustrated with, you know, I don't want to call it false advertising. It's not at all, but I guess it's the likelihood. People would love it to be disclosed. You know, if the likelihood of getting 330, if that was disclosed and it was like 1 in 40,000, then I think people would be like, okay, I don't think I'm going to do that. Or, okay, that's worth it. I'm going to try for that. You know, everybody should know the odds. I think when you play the lottery, you go, how many people are playing? Oh, 2 million? Okay, whatever. I'm buying one anyway. And then at least there's some acceptance and self-responsibility for your decision-making. Right, yeah. You know what I mean? But when you are told there's a chance to whatever, I think that's why they raised it to 330, because it sends a clear signal that 99.9% of the time it's going to be 5 shards. At that point, you're buying premium shards.
My question then at that point becomes, is it 5 or 330, or is it going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, an increment of 5? Because when they did the Nihilist, the Krennic, the Death Trooper packs, and all the Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper, and all of the Phoenix Squad packs, it was a chance of 5 or 30, not 5 to 30. You couldn't get 6 shards, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 25 even. You could only get 5 or 30 shards of the character.
This one says 5 with a chance at getting 330. What chance means is 99.9% of the time it's not going to happen, but you're either going to get 5 on that unlock, or you're going to get 330 on that unlock. The way the wording is comparatively to the previous times they've released these packs. That's my interpretation.
Do we know what the wording is comparative to that Empire pack that they did? Because that's what I'm comparing it the most to, because that was the last one that had the 5 to 330 structure. And in that one, you were seeing a lot of 10s, 15s, and 20s.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
yeah. So
it would be really awesome. It would be really awesome if they did the Ahsoka pack the same price as that Empire pack, because that Empire pack was like 499 shards or 699 shards.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 500 or 600. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
That one was specifically for a rework, and so they were wanting people to like do bulk purchases, and so it kind of got more common. Plus, a lot of those characters were farmable, so really you didn't have to buy the pack. That was just a way to speed up the process, and some people were willing to pay for convenience, which I think is what's in most of these games. This is a totally different thing. This isn't, you know, I'm pretty positive you're gonna get 5 shards. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
That'll be what you get. All right, what's the next update?
Next update, probably a small one, is that we have a very similar to the cash bundle for Ahsoka. We also have a cash bundle for the reworked Moff Tarkin that's going to have your 80 character shards, along with credits, droids, and ability mats, and I believe also some gear for him as well.
And that's already in the game. And if you don't have Tarkin, well, let's face it, if you're level 60, you've got Tarkin because of the Fleet Commander event. But if you are on the fence on whether you should take him to 6 or 7 stars, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely take him to 7 stars. But I think arena shipments, you can usually farm a character pretty fast. Like what Cassian was it? Who's in there? Is it Cassian? Yeah, Cassian was just added in there, and in 2 weeks or something, you got him to like the 7 stars. And that was like from 0 shards too. So I think especially you get the 80 shards when you first start ships for Tarkin. That's pretty fast right there. It's already unlocked at 4 stars. Is it worth, I mean, buying the pack for $20 to speed it up, even though arena shipments is pretty fast already? I don't know. It's a different story. I mean, Veers is definitely worth it because he's a hard to farm. Stormtrooper is worth it. I don't know about Grandma Tarkin, though.
I think it definitely depends on where you rank in arenas. If you're a newer player who's completely free to play, well, maybe not completely free to play, maybe you've only put a few bucks into the game or something, and you really like Empire and you really want to have a squad that's prepped for R2, and maybe you're still ranking in the 800 to 1,000 or even lower in arenas, and you're only getting 200-300 arena points or tokens a day, it may be worth it to speed it up 2-3 weeks on the farming.
And I think another thing that's important to note is that Arena Shipments has a lot of strong characters for different teams. It's not like you're looking at with GW where you're guaranteed 1,200 shards or 3 sets of shards a day, and there's maybe a half a dozen characters and the rest is just chaff. You have a lot of extremely strong characters in Arena Shipments.
Yeah,
you do. A lot of options in arenas.
All right. Next note down here, Phoenix Squadron is now in Chromium packs and Fleet packs. They're also showing up in shipments. And I think something that we had briefly touched on earlier that's even more exciting to go along with this is that your Rogue One characters are now in shipments at sets of 3 for 150 instead of paying $80 a shard, you're paying 50.
Which to that I say, hell yeah, bring on the bays.
Finally.
In addition, note to that, they've adjusted the duplicate character. Sorry, I can't speak here for a second. Adjusted the duplicate character shard yield rates in Chromium packs, and what that means is that if you unlock a Sidious, but you already have Sidious, they're going to give you a number of shards for him based on what star he unlocked at, and now they're actually giving the full value in shards. So if you get a character that was supposed to unlock at 4 stars, he's going to get 80 shards, so on and so forth.
Which that right there is awesome, because that's the difference between 30-something shards that you used to get for a 4-star character and now 80 shards, which is wicked awesome.
And it almost means that even if you have most characters unlocked, you can go in the Chromiums to try to pull the few that you're looking for, and if you don't get them, you're getting massive amounts of currency for the shard shop to try to go in and buy whoever you want to get.
that makes me tempted to you know, pull out a second mortgage on my house and buy a couple vaults.
Hey, I got a quick question. What do you guys think of the new salvage colors? Is it just me, or am I going colorblind? I feel like I'm going colorblind.
So that was actually a source of conversation in my guild's Discord server. There, everybody was complaining that the salvage looks like full pieces, and the blueprint, the prototypes look like it's like they got the images mixed up.
I mean, they had this. These gear items have looked the same for what, a year and a half, almost 2 years now, and they change it. It's gonna get it takes time to get used to. Like, I was doing the daily challenges, and I was getting my today's the tank gear challenge or whatever, and I'm getting all this gear. I'm like, oh man, they put new gear in. And as I'm tapping each one of them, it's the gear I've had for years now. So it's gonna take a while to get adjusted to. So it's prettier, I guess, but yeah, it's just you're breaking this mental picture we had in our mind for years now.
I think the old colors, though, were more vibrant and more like, you know, they just, I don't know, it's like they've muted the coloring and it's all muted. And while at first I was like, wow, this is cool, I was like, wait, everything looks like a turd. Because the coloring is just weird for me.
I don't know why they changed it. That's a really random thing to update. Unless there's a purpose or they really just wanted to do it. Yeah, it's really hard to understand why they wanted to enter that in.
So what I'm seeing in it is, if you notice, the completed pieces still have a nice vibrant color, and it's specifically the salvage that has this darkened color. And I'm personally a fan of that because it allows me at a quick glance to look at something and see whether or not I'm looking at salvage or if I'm looking at finished pieces. Because it used to be that you just had to look for that little lines in the background of the salvage to know that that's what you're looking at, and now you have this real nice color differential between the two.
Dude, I love how
it's a really nice red brown.
I love how they give us extra refreshes. Instead of 2, you get 3 with the 100 crystals. I'm about to do some mod farming right now, dude. So if I scream a little bit and act like a girl, you guys need to relax, okay? I'm doing mod farming.
Did they increase like what type of mods you get? Because I've been getting amazing mods for just like 2 refreshes. I've been getting almost every mod I had some sort of speed in the secondary, which has been absolutely amazing. I think I got maybe 3 plus 10 speed mods. It's been insane.
Well, it's great to meet you because I've been seeing the exact opposite. I did really? I did a full 20 last night, and I want to say 16 out of those 20 were gray mods.
That's not bad. 16 out of 20, that's not too bad. I mean, at least for me, I do 2 refresh. Well, normally, actually, before this update, I'd never refresh mod challenges because I was tired of spending the crystals and never getting mods that I needed. So I just used my free energy to farm mods. And then today I decided to start using crystals again on mods once more, and it's been and yeah, just I mean, I know it's a very small sample, but I've never had that type of luck where in one pull I'd get, at least out of the one pull I'd get for 1 refresh, 2 of them would have some sort of speed in the secondary, and I know it's been great for me at least.
Yeah, no, definitely. The first refresh I did last night, because of course they put it in and they give you the 100 effective immediately, so suddenly I had 1 more 100 on the day. I did 8 mod challenges, and the first set pulled a 30 speed.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
I just got 2 for speed. I'm gonna update. I'm gonna roll them. I got an arrow for speed, and by the way, I have a really great video on mods. It's like 45 minutes long, so if you want to watch a journal, you can watch it. But I talk about the different mod basics, and then I have an advanced course that's about speed secondaries and kind of how to analyze mods, and that's a really good video. It's actually better if you know kind of the basics of mods. But I normally tell people, don't do the white mods because you have no speed, you have no secondaries. You need to see speed minimum or it's kind of worthless. I mean, there's some rare occasions when that is not the case for certain characters, but for the most part, the only exception obviously to a speed secondary not being shown and it's being worth it is if it's a speed arrow. I mean, you don't care, who cares, right? A speed arrow is 30, so who cares if it doesn't have secondaries? So,
well, the only other exception is when you're not paying anything to upgrade it.
Man, don't remind me. I was on the side of the road with a blown tire. I wanted to do all of my mods, and I only needed to do about 10 mods, honestly, and I didn't even get to do those. So, yeah super sad.
Just to answer the people that are wondering how long this is going to last, the verbiage that they have in there, the 2 most important words I found when they're talking about mods is going forward. So it looks like this is going to be a permanent thing 100% drop rate until you hear something else from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yes.
kind of funny how they snuck this in. Like, it came out of nowhere. I never expected them to bring it back because they nerfed it, what, back in August or something, or
So
September?
it happened for about. I actually have my own video out there called Pre-Crafting 2.0, the mod fiasco, and it was for about a week after mods debuted, they were at 100% drop rate, and then after that week was up, they dropped the drop rate to like whatever it happened to be, like 20 or 30 or 40%. And so that, like you said, the wording, they mentioned specifically that for a limited time, one additional refresh of your Cantina and regular energy would be at 50 and 100 crystals. However, with the mod drop rate, they did not include that limited time
They said going.
verbiage. So it's yes. So I am very, very hopeful, fingers crossed here, that they are going to be leaving that permanent. And if that's the case for new players especially, that is fantastic news, because right now one of the biggest questions that new players have is, what should I spend my Cantina energy on? Do I need to farm characters or mods? And so being able to farm mods at 100% drop rate for new players especially is going to be huge.
Means that
Huge.
they-
It's huge. It's huge. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know it. I know it. They know it.
Hey, Tommy Race, you've been super quiet, dude. Jump into this conversation. I got other guys being a little quiet too. You guys feel free to jump in, man. Make sure that, you know, if you've got it muted, that's fine, so we don't hear all the background noise. But if you guys want to be involved in this conversation, you just have to talk over us. It's like a bunch of teenage schoolgirls. You just have to just kind of jump in there. It's like hopscotch.
All right, most important part of this update right here, though. Is everyone ready for this?
Yep.
Do it.
Dark Side 9B Ewok Scout.
Wait, what?
Dude, don't even lie.
So you know why? You know why that's actually really, really good news to me. To me, that means that they're not going to stick a very, very valuable character like Ahsoka Tano on 9B.
Yeah, they'll put it
Now
on
they
20.
still have 9C and 9D. They still have 9C and 9D to fill, but that means that maybe Phoenix Squadron gets put on 9C, 9D, and maybe Ahsoka goes to
She's
a
not
ship.
going to a ship.
I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing with Phoenix Squadron that they did with Rogue One. Pick out the best characters and put them in a hard node, and then all the other characters go ahead and put them in Cantina and such, because you actually have to have the synergies of the team for most
Right.
characters to work.
They'll
still
put
farming tier 2
they'll
to
put
say.
Hera and Ezra on 9C and 9D. Watch it.
I don't know
I've
about
heard a lot about Sabine being good standalone without the rest of the team. I think her and Ezra are the two that I've seen a lot.
Dude, I play Ezra in the arena, and he is a monster.
Yeah, Ezra's crazy.
He hits he hits twice almost all the time. I mean, he gets a double attack 4 out of 5 times, and it's an 80% chance most of the time. So he's awesome. And when he hits for 10 to 15K on his basic. And so you're hitting twice, it's 20 to 30,000 on his basic. And when he calls an assist, it's even more wicked because both people are guaranteed crits and get 20% more damage. And so yeah, he's absolutely nutty. And I have him at 6 stars. I don't even have his rarity maxed out. So pretty crazy. I'm pretty excited about him. And then of course I think armor shred is going to be a thing eventually. At some point it will have purpose and meaning in the game, and so I think Sabine's got, you know, and she's a Mandalorian, and someday Mandalorians are coming into the game, and I think she'll get that tag as well. So I think she is the second best, but as of now, I don't think she's really worth a whole lot. I've got her at gear 9, kind of fiddle-faddling with her from time to time when I see a gear piece or slot that's open, but yeah, I don't know. I think the rest of them, I think Kanan would be nice, but I just don't see his usability quite like I see. Because we already have a tank with Jedi, right? We have General Kenobi, who's the best tank in the game.
No, it's old Ben, man.
It's so BA. He's
What about some kind of Chewbacca Han Solo synergy? There has to be some kind of super synergy coming in with that, surely.
What they need to do with Chewbacca is they just need to quote unquote rework Clone Wars Chewbacca, take the Clone Wars off of his name, and just make him regular Chewbacca, and then
Give him some kind of sweet Zeta ability that matches up with Han. Surely. Why aren't they original Top Guns? Surely. They should be
Maybe they
flying
can
that
always have,
Millennium
like,
Falcon.
Maybe they'll
Ridiculous.
do something where if you want to attack
What?
Han Solo, if Chewbacca's present with the Zeta or something, you have to hit Chewbacca. You can't get to Han Solo until Chewbacca's knocked out.
Yeah,
That
that
might be
like
kind of cool.
Yeah.
And while we're doing that, can we kick Poe and Rey out of the Millennium Falcon and put Han and Chewie back in?
Exactly. Original Top Guns.
Well, you gotta get the one with the satellite back on it or whatever it was, the dish that fell off. You gotta put that back
Yeah.
on. Then all of a sudden, Han Solo comes back in.
Hey guys, can we talk about farming Ahsoka? And the reason why I want to go there is I'm in shipments right now, and I bought a fusion furnace, Mark V, and I bought a holo projector. Side note, she needs multiple holo projectors, she needs multiple Carbantes, she needs a furnace. You should be thinking about this now, right? You know, if you're going to go Ahsoka, gear should be what you're focused on right now. And it's on swgoh.gg, aka Swagagaga. And it's got all the gear that she needs, and she's a beast. Have you guys looked at her gearing? She's a beast.
Absolutely, absolutely. I already, in fact, I made a stupid decision last night because I was thinking about this after I already bought it. I bought a Mark V stun gun prototype, the like 1,275 crystals. I bought it, and I had literally 1,300 crystals. And after I bought it, I was like, "Oh, I'm such an idiot." Because of all these refreshes, and then they're going to be doing double mod drops, like 2 days. And so I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I burned all of my crystals. But thankfully, I'm actually on a top 5 rotation with people on my arena shards, so I will be getting 500 crystals today. So
Nice.
But
Funny.
definitely one of the main things, one of my top priorities in the next 8 days is going to be pre-farming gear for Ahsoka Tano because she's my homegirl.
And
Free farming gear,
got some
aka
nasty
buying.
parts, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Buying a lot of gear.
so she has 440 gold, 1,400 purple, and 4 raid gear parts. If you're free to play, go Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,700 other characters I need to work on first.
Because he's way easier to gear than she is, and those are the
1,070
two.
pieces for him.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
And I need them for those Zeta mats in my ships as well, if I'm honest. It's free to play, like strictly free to play.
And
I
Ezra,
definitely need Moff Tarkin to get those Zeta mats.
yep.
You know, when you need a Mark
I
V,
Zeta'd Vader just through the fleet store, and it took me like 2.5 months just buying them. It was dedication, but it was worth it. My finest achievement.
Nice.
Can I just mention when we're talking about equipment, how stupid being able to get a Mark V furnace for 1,400 crystals when you look at other things that they're charging 1,400 crystals for, and this is 121 pieces of salvage, 50 of raid salvage, 50 and 20 of finished pieces that are needed by most characters in the game, and you just get all of that for 1,400 crystals.
Yeah, the Mark V Fusion Furnace is by far the best purchase in the
it
game
has to
from
be.
shipments.
1,400 crystals is so many crystals.
well,
Yeah, it is,
There's
but
so
you
many
know,
300 crystal
you're
pieces
getting-
of gear that every character
Just
needs.
the
It's just
hypo
ridiculous.
syringe by itself is worth 1,400, and the
Projector is another
the
300.
hypo projector is another 300. So you're looking at 1,700 just
Yeah, I mean-
materials right there.
I mean, look at it. The Mark V stun gun. That if you want the full piece, it's like 2,500 crystals right there.
Or, of
That's
course, you just buy a million Mark IVs because you think they're Mark Vs and don't.
oh man, I've done that. I'm like, oh man, 300 crystals. I'm on that, and then I'm like, oh god damn it.
It's the one that I have 500 of because it's in a challenge.
Yeah, no, so there's 50, 100, 120, 121 pieces in a Mark V furnace. 121 pieces. To farm for that, you're looking at about 2,000 crystals if you're farming and getting good drop rates. So it's a value for that for sure. You know, so it's just one of those things that you got to kind of do the analysis on. I think most people, and I'm talking about even top 1,000 people, they should be able to get around 150 to 200 crystals a day. And if you're like, I need this piece, don't do refreshes for a week. Like, I get it. I have a free-to-play account I still dabble in, and there's weeks I have to go where I do no additional farming, and I save up my 200 a day, and I get 1,400, and I buy that furnace out because that one furnace is the difference between going from gear 8 to gear 9 with a character, and the difference between whether I
Grind is
can
real.
even get crystals in
Grind
the
is
arena
real.
anymore. So it's not as hard as people think. You just have to be hyper-focused, right?
The one asterisk to that to be though is that I think that piece of advice is specific to 85. if you haven't hit cap yet, the experience that you're getting, 120 experience after off of every refresh, does add up, even if you're not getting the gear quite as quickly.
Absolutely.
All right, and that's about all from the announcement we have out. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the fact that even though they didn't give us any specifics, that they're looking to team up with charities going forward, which is good because they have to be making a ridiculous amount of money off of this game.
Yeah, so I think it's great that they're doing a charity run. I'm not sure quite what's all involved. Obviously, they'll do an announcement of some sort to kind of give us the information on it. But I think any company that makes money, that's a for-profit, that does good, it's great to be philanthropy. To have philanthropy in their stage of how they build their business, because everybody's looking at them, and it's not just about perceptions, it's just about doing the right thing. So I'm interested to see what that looks like.
Absolutely. And then the last part of this update was kind of a link to something that had came out, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, regarding the Newt Gunray, and then the hinting to the Xylo capacity being taken away in phase 1 of HAT.
So I want to take a second. I don't have Newt max gear or anything. I don't really have a huge dog in the fight, but I think it sets a terrible precedent what they've done with Newt Gunray. Number one, they nerfed him when R2 came out because of the possibility of an endless loop with Lando Calrissian. You put Lando in stealth, he uses his AoE, he gets multiple crits, gets full turn meter, goes again, goes again, goes again, goes again. It causes an infinite loop with Lando Calrissian. I understand that they kind of nerfed Newt Gunray by limiting the turn meter gain to once per turn. However, with the verbiage that they included with the original, and see this, they should have changed it. If they knew that it was bugged before, when they dropped R2 and changed his leader ability, when they dropped R2, they should have gone in and changed the verbiage. It's very clear when you look at other characters' abilities that where it says each turn, it applies to all turns that all characters take, not just the character in question. So in my interpretation of Newt's ability, before they came out and said it's not working as intended, it was working as intended because it said on each turn, which to me implies assists, counterattacks, any of that is available for turn meter gain to a maximum of 50% turn meter once each turn, which shouldn't just be limited to that character's turn. So they could have prevented this by fixing what they knew was already quote-unquote bugged, rather than going in and giving him a second, hitting him with the nerf stick twice in a month. So
yeah, I agree, and I'll tell you, I actually learned a lot in the last couple of days because I knew they were very key and specific in their wording and verbiage, and I thought I understood their verbiage pretty well. But through this whole situation, I realized that they now, not only is it not clear and it's ambiguous and it's not, it wasn't working as intended, but there's a lot of characters that have ambiguous lettering that they're going to have to go back and really address, because is it turns, their turn, all turns, ally turns, does allies include themselves or does it not include themselves? There's times when it doesn't, there's times when it does, and it's all based on like a single word, and they should probably have that staged somewhere, easily accessible for everybody to see and read, because it definitely sets a precedence of confusion for everybody who's in the game.
So I think there's definitely, and it's something you don't think about when you're starting a new game, and I'm talking about this as someone who plays a lot of a card game called Magic the Gathering and looks back at the original releases of that, is you release something and it's originally maybe 50 or 60 characters, and it's easy to go ahead and just give them all their individual information, but as you expand the number you have, you really need to get into the process of having everything templated that you're putting out on each character so that there's continuity across the universe.
So I want to throw this out there. I think what they should do with Newt, since they've hit him with the nerf stick twice, is take advantage of all of this attention that's being put on Newt and give him a soft rework, maybe not a full rework, but at least rework his leader ability to have some wicked, awesome separatist synergy, because that's one thing the separatists are really missing, is a good synergistic leader who can bring a separatist squad to bear in possibly even in arenas.
Yeah. But one thing I did know about their post, even though this doesn't apply to everyone, is that you talk about people who spent the time working to gear Newt up, but you didn't actually have to do that. If you got a Newt to gear 6 so that you could unlock his leadership ability and start leveling it up, you didn't need anything else. You just needed his leadership. So you have people going in there and doing this amount of damage with the gear 6 tune in hat, and it really works to undermine a lot of the work that is being done on other teams, especially for that phase.
Right, and that's why I say I didn't really have a dog in the fight, because my Newt is literally sitting at level 68 or 72, whatever level you need for max leader skill, because I was going to try it. I'm not going to lie. I was going to try it out. But really my big beef with the way they've treated Newt is the precedent. I think it just sets a bad precedent.
Yeah. I guess I was kind of against Newt to begin with, because my best friend who plays this game along with me, he has spent so much of his time and effort in the game building his clone team specifically to hit Phase 2, and now if this sticks around, all of the work that he did was just going to become irrelevant because Phase 2 is just getting wiped by this low-level team.
Right. And I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a lot of frustration for anyone who, spent the time on a particular character.
Yeah. And then in the closing words, they kind of did this entire article about what they're changing, why they're changing it for the new. And then what caught a lot of people is in their closing words, there's a paragraph, and I'm just going to go ahead and read this verbatim real quick. Finally, we are aware that there is an issue with the escape ability that is granted to players via the raid mechanics. We know that this, too, is undermining the intent of heroic raid tiers, and we're looking into a solution for this. We'll discuss that update a little later. And it's pretty obvious that what they're referring to there is how if you get a Zeta on Kylo Ren, where his third ability is granting him protection and resetting his cooldowns, it also resets the cooldown for his escape, and that allows you to just hit Grievous a half a dozen to a dozen times, escape, go back in, and repeat the process. And it's technically possible for a single player with the Zeta General Grievous given enough time to solo all of Phase 1. Sorry, with the Zeta Kylo Ren to solo all of Phase 1 with General Grievous in the heroic AAT raid.
Right.
Yeah, it's his unique. It actually gives him a percent. I think it's a 40% chance.
Sorry, yes, my apologies.
No, yeah, but it doesn't require a Zeta for his cooldowns to get reset. Which is nice, and that's been and this has been the way that Kylo's worked since his inception. He's always reset the escape timer.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, to me, this is kind of a, oh well, Newt was causing an uproar, so we're going to take this character that still requires a lot of investment. I mean, Kylo is not an easy gear. And and by the way, 20 Zetas, which I understand for people who invest money or people who place very high in ship arenas is it's toss away. But for free to play, 20 Zetas takes a long time. So if people are investing Zeta ability mats in Kylo because they want to be able to do, so like in my guild, for instance, there are a lot of people with Zeta Kylo. Our Phase 1 literally lasts like 5 to 10 minutes. You might get 2 attacks with your Zeta Kylo. I think that if they do decide to nerf the Zeta Kylo, I mean, it's not going to be a huge deal because I still love Zeta Kylo for like Galactic War, and occasionally I'll throw him into my arena squad just because it's really fun to watch my Zeta Kylo 1v5 a triple cleanse team. But it's definitely. It's going to be a bummer, I think, but hey, my Jedis will actually get to see the youth in the heroic tank again.
Don't you think it's just terrible, though, that they're going to nerf Newt, who's completely useless in almost every other facet of the game, and now everyone's found a little niche that he fits into? They're going to completely ruin that little niche that maybe some of these free-to-play characters, they're just like, oh my goodness, now we can actually compete in the Phase 2,
But yeah, it's really looking at the niche for this specific character and also the application of how many characters are being hurt because they're just not any teams for phase 2 or right now any teams for phase 1 are just not relevant because you have these single characters that can just do the entire thing. You don't have to worry about anything else.
I see that. But I just think it's kind of like you might not be any good at phase 1, 3, or 4, but if you can get in there with those droids and you had a good Newt as a free-to-play character, it's just like
I think Newt
only chance of kind of dealing any damage to your guild.
I think Newt in particular catches a lot of people because once they saw this, they started gearing and investing resources into Newt, and it was specifically for this. There's nothing else that you're putting.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, Kylo, even though that's going to suck, is not by any means going to ruin Kylo as a character and make him useless. I'm still thinking about giving him my first Zeta despite this.
Especially moving forward. I mean, there's going to be another movie coming out, and typically when the movies have come out, they've done character releases for those movies. And, you know, Kylo Ren's going to show up in episode 8, so that could be a huge place where Kylo Ren and Zeta and Kylo Ren would be a very good thing moving forward.
Yeah. And he's by no means terrible in hat now. You're still looking at getting a solid, if you just leave him in the entire time, probably a solid 300,000 to $500,000 out of Kylo if you actually just shove him into a team now.
Yeah, I use so what I would normally do is I would use my Kylo Ren in phase 1, get 1 or 2 attacks and make sure I got him escaped. And then I would immediately throw him into a one of my favorite squads because I don't have clones geared up. It's just I've been focusing on my arena squad lately and arena characters. So I don't have clones geared up. So what I use for phase 2 is I have Sidious Zeta. So I use a Zeta Sidious, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, R2, Kenobi in phase 2, and I've been able to score 1,000,000 points of damage in 4 out of 4 attacks.
Nice.
So I like Kylo in that group, and it always goes to Enrage, and I never get a chance to escape Kylo anyway. So Kylo dies in that group anyway. So it's
and that's with a Zeta Sidious lead.
Yep. Well, I mean, the Zeta Sidious is more just for his own survivability, so he doesn't die super fast.
Right.
Well, and the extra potency, so he actually lands the damage over time and everything else.
So let's see, there's not really questions that I see happening yet. Someone's asking me if I know Final Boss. Yes, I do.
I got one question here.
He's in my guild, and he's got a crazy team, and a lot of people see him as the final boss in Galactic War. I think that's why he named his name that, because you'll run into him and he'll be the final boss. He'll be the guy that you see at the end, which is pretty cool. He's got a tough team, but he did build a really powerful team, but it's also a top 5 team, which means that he stuck a bunch of tanks in there, so it is easily beatable. This is where B2 comes into play and why I recommend B2 for everyone. B2, if for nothing else, Galactic War is an absolute necessity. So when you get into those high tanky teams where people are trying to break Galactic War and they stick 4 tanks in, but they happen to be really powerful tanks and you have a hard time getting through it, B2 will help you, zip through that for sure.
He's a beast. I love B2.
Somebody asks, when will Gear 12 be available? And Gear 12 is not going to be available until the next upgrade or update when they go to like level 90. And there's been no immediate, there've been no immediate thoughts on that anytime recently. So, I don't think it's going to happen for another 6 months probably.
I see. They never go to 90. I'm dreading the 2 million credits to get from 85 to 90, or more.
Has anybody tried out a Tarkin with Imperial Super Commando?
Yes, he's not here on anymore, but Ahnald, Ahnald T101, who's one of the game changers who was on this call just a minute ago, he has an Imperial Troopers team, and he has a Grand Moff Tarkin. He'd even dropped the Zeta on the leadership ability, I believe, and he's having a little bit of remorse. I think he won't once things play out a little more and some more theory crafting happens. But I definitely would have done his unique first, just because we don't know which Empire leader is the best yet. There's 5 of them now, 5 freaking leaders for Empire. It's nuts. And I have a gut feeling that it's probably going to end up popping up to be Emperor Palpatine because of potency increase, or it's going to end up being Director Krennic because of the potency increase as far as the best leader, and it remains to be seen. But I think Krennic has probably the best shot of being the best Empire lead in the game right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love his unavoidable, well, rather unresistible ability block whenever you crit a debuffed character. That's like, as Arnold would say, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
But I think that right now, and the biggest thing there is against Rex leads. If you can get a debuff on an enemy, and if you can get Krennic, or you get an Empire character to a crit them with even if they have tenacity up, say you've got God, I see what really sucks is that if you could get like a blend of Zeta Vader and Krennic, you would be able to just absolutely destroy Rex leads. But with the thing with a Rex lead is you kind of have to get a debuff on them and then get the crit on Rex before he's able to use his tenacity up, because otherwise tenacity up goes up and then Krennic is kind of out of commission.
Yep, that's true. It says, do you need Luke for flash events? I'm pretty positive that's a yes.
Yeah, I think that was in the notes.
Yep.
Well, it was data mined. It was data mined.
Yeah. So you're gonna need Luke, and you're gonna need Jawas for some of the higher level events.
So that kind of brings us back to one of the questions that I came up with. And, so let's say a player who's been around for a year or so, and so you get Luke at the beginning of the game. He's 3-star. He's quite low. Let's say I've never touched him since he's level. Let's say I never even used him at the beginning. He's level 1, gear level 1, and I've been around for a while, and I've been farming up my Jawas. I've been getting shards of them, but I haven't really put any effort into leveling or gearing them up yet. Where would you recommend starting at before that?
I'm curious. I really would like to hear your guys' thoughts on it too. It's free to play.
Yeah. That's a tricky question.
So I was reading a bunch of questions trying to catch up for myself. Repeat that, please, one more time, so I make sure I don't give you the wrong answer.
So if I'm a person who's been playing for, let's say, a year or a little over a year,
right,
and I never used Luke when you first got him at the beginning because maybe I bought a pack that gave me with Varys or somebody like that.
Right.
And so my Luke is 3-star, level 1, or level, very low level, gear level 1 or 2, and during my year I've been farming the Jawas at this point, and let's say I have multiple of the Jawas close to 7-star or at 7-star. However, I haven't leveled them up or geared them up yet. Where would you recommend starting at?
As far as like which Jawa to do?
Well, so with the flash events coming, we know we're going to need Luke for the flash event.
Right.
But for the higher level stuff, we're also going to need the Jawas.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you definitely have to start with Luke, though, because what it's looking like is out of the 4 events, 2 of them are going to be events solo by Luke, and then 2 of them are going to be Luke plus some combination of Jawas. So if you get Luke up to 6 stars and properly geared, and then you get a single Jawa up to 4 stars and properly geared, that gives you 3 out of the 4 sections to the event as it stands right now done. And then the 4th section is going to be what requires you, it looks like, to have some number of Jawas up to 5 stars.
All right, and I also have a good idea or a good answer for this. The events go like 20, 40, 60, 80. That's kind of a lot of times what they do. And these flash events are probably going to have some similarity in that there's probably going to be different tiers, and you kind of do which tier you think you're most comfortable with. I do know for a fact, because I read the event in-game. Actually, after this battle, I'll go into it. But in-game, it actually says your attempts go across all levels, which means A, there's going to be multiple levels or multiple tiers to try, and B, you're only going to get so many attempts. So you're going to have to choose the tier you think you can beat. Remember, if you go a higher tier and lose, it doesn't count against you, so do the highest tier first. But getting characters to like level 20 would be your first goal. So put all of those characters you think you need, your Jawas and him, into your favorites for the week, and get them to level 20. What's that going to cost you? 500,000 credits for all of them, and the gearing would take 2 days. Then once you get them to 20, the next day get them to 40. So you can start to progressively, as these are dropping off and on, you're progressively raising them together. 20, then 40, and then 60. By the time you get all these guys to 60, you're probably going to be able to do every tier that they're dropping, and maybe not the last tier, but the last tier isn't going to be absolutely critical, necessary, must have. So that's my thought on it, is do it constructively together. And remember, getting things to gear 20 is not expensive, even for free to play. Getting things to gear 40 is relatively moderately not too bad for gear either. It's once you get to 60 and above that it starts to really become a drain on the free to play characters. It ramps up really high after that. So I would just do them together that way.
Good point.
Does that help? Is that a good strategy, you guys?
Yeah, it sounds solid.
So. I think it's definitely doable, especially for free to play. I would probably start out with, rather than going to 20 first, I would probably focus on, trying to get everybody to 60, because 60 is pretty cheap. It only costs, I think, like 800,000 credits to get to level 60.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, gentlemen. Well, I've taken a 90-minute lunch break at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and get yelled at by my supervisor. So it was cool hanging out with all of you.
It was awesome, Nathan. Thanks for hopping on.
Catch you later, Nathan.
Have a good one.
Yep, Ori, I think I gotta do the same. I've been taking about an hour and a half work lunch too, so
awesome.
I think I'll bow out. But yeah, thanks for the invite.
Myst, where can we find you really quick before you jump off? Tell everybody where they can find you, so if they want to catch up with you.
So you can follow me on Twitter at Myst_YouTube, and then my channel is youtube.com/user/Myst Passiert, MIST PASSIERT, all one word.
Okay, awesome. And also, because he's going to be jumping off, Ahnald T101 jumped on the call earlier, and he had some fun with us, did a little bit of chatting and stuff, so that's exciting. You can find him at Ahnald T101. Pretty easy to find him, AHNALD T101 on YouTube. He's one of the largest YouTubers for this game, super popular, so make sure to check him out. I'm probably going to do one more arena battle just for fun, showcase my Ezra that I'm currently now farming out of shipments. And then we're going to probably wrap this up. Tommy, you've been quiet. I know you had to jump off for a few, but what are your thoughts on the update? Just kind of everybody who's left, give us your overall thoughts of the update, what you're most excited about, and kind of what you're looking forward to over the next week.
Hey, so I've been off and on the call a little bit because, watching the kids, I had to, jump on a call. But I love this update, especially the mods. That's my favorite part. I love that drops. One thing we've been talking about in our guild and has been on Reddit is if you max up your energy now and get as close to that 999 cap as possible, you actually will get more mods than if you just spend more Cantina energy then. So the idea is you lose the 360 energy from refreshes, but because you buy 3 today, 3 tomorrow, and then maybe I'm getting the days off. You only want to do it 2 days in advance because the 999 cap. But on that 3rd day, you will get 151 mods.
That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy.
And when it comes back again on the 29th, you'll get 151 more for a total of 302, which is insane. A lot of people who are listening right now may not have even gotten their 1,000 achievement yet.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about achievements. They're kind of a thing of the past for me. I've gotten most all those achievements. So that's a really, really good point. All right, Tommy. What about Ryan and George? Ryan or George, either one of you have a favorite that's coming out on this new update?
I've not really been listening loads because I'm currently writing a university essay on microeconomics of the FIFA World Cup.
University essay, awesome. Just what's your favorite part of the update? And then we're going to be bouncing out of here probably pretty shortly.
I just think it's Ahsoka. I just think any new character, and then sort of obviously just learning the gear and all that. Any new character is just fun, I think. So I think Ahsoka probably for me.
Very cool. Mark, what's your favorite part of the new update?
I'm really looking forward to the flash events, actually.
They're pretty fun, huh?
Yeah, even though I'll throw a picture up on Discord for you here about that question that I asked.
Hey, Tommy, someone's asking if you'll kind of repeat the mod tip as far as saving up energy and all that. They want you to kind of go through it again. They didn't understand it quite so well the first time you described it.
Absolutely. Okay, so on the 27th, we'll have our first mod drop.
3 days.
Starting tomorrow on the 25th, for 300 crystals, buy your 3 Cantina energies at the end of the day after you've already saved up some energy. The next day, don't spend any of that energy. Just let it sit there in the bank.
Right. Now, the only downside to this is you're not going to be having any growing each day, but we know Cantina energy grows super slow anyway, so you're going to lose through this process maybe 50 to 100 energy per day. Let's just make that clear. But what you're doing is stacking, so go ahead.
Yeah, and then the next day, you do your 3 for your daily. You don't want to miss out on those rewards. And then you'll buy 3 more for another 300 crystals. At this point, you'll be getting very close to the cap of 999. Close to that cap without going over. And then on the 27th, hit pay dirt and just farm as many mods as possible. With 100% drops of double drops, you are going to get an insane amount of mods.
Yeah, and
more
so
than if you...
So the strategy behind this, and Tommy's great with this, the strategy behind this is for 3 days, you're going to basically stunt the Cantina energy growth at the end of that third day, and then the next 2 days, it's going to stunt that growth. Because once you're over the 140 or wherever your Cantina cap's at, you won't get it constantly refreshing on itself. But you want to get the most energy at the 100, right? So the day that this happens, this mod drop happens, it's for like 1 day. What he's saying is wouldn't it be nice if you could buy 9 refreshes at 100 crystals? And the answer is that would be nice, and you can. And the way that works is you buy your 3 energy refreshes at the end of the 25th, which gives you, because you don't want to go the 24th or 23rd, because then you're going to go over the cap. See, there's a cap of how much energy you can have, and that's like 999. So what he's saying is we want to max that out. You basically want to have 1,000 energy being bought at only the 100 crystal refresh. So do that, 3 times per day. That's 300 crystals. And then the day of double drops, you get to spend all 1,000 on that, get double drops on all 1,000, and buy your 3 for that day as well. So it's almost like getting basically almost 1,200 energy refreshes or 1,200 crystals, but for that you're going to get like 1,000 friggin' mods. It's insanity. So that's a great free-to-play advice. Not everyone's going to have the 1,200 crystals to do that, but think about it. You get 200 a day, so do it twice. Do 2 of these refreshes for 3 days, and you're still going to be close to almost the 1,000 cap with that.
I think they're going to have to get rid of the mods in guild chat telling people that you unlock rare mods, because for a few days that's going to be all that's in there, isn't it? You might have to read anyone's comments or anything. It's all just going to be this person unlocked Mark A, whatever. This person unlocked Mark A, whatever.
Right. All right. So I think Ryan spoke and Mark spoke. George, if you're there, do you want to? What's your favorite part of the update?
Yeah, I said before, it was Ahsoka's my main favorite.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep, Ahsoka. I'm super excited. I'm all in. Grand Moff looks amazing. I think it's great that he's now usable, but I'm definitely an Ahsoka fan. Anybody else on the call want to give their shout out for what's their favorite part of this update?
Just quickly, do we know what will need to unlock Ahsoka? Like, will it be like Rebels, Empire, etc., or will it just be anything?
It's a marquee event, and every other marquee event in the past has been open roster, and they give you the character that they want you to play with. So it should be open roster, but I mean, I can't speak until it drops and actually look in there, but it should be open roster.
Okay, perfect.
And I looked in game. Oh, by the way, that was the thing I was going to look at real quick. Events, because when you click on events, it actually tells you with Skywalker, it says plays, which are the attempts, so there's multiple attempts, are shared across all tiers. So be really, really careful. Make sure you go to the highest tier possible. Do it. If you fail, that's okay. Move to the next tier down. Make sure you're doing the highest tier that you're capable of doing, because they're probably going to give you a couple attempts. And if you waste those couple attempts on the beginning, then you won't have any attempts for the latter. And the rewards are obviously tiered, and they get better the higher the tier is. So you want to do whatever tier makes the most sense. And on Codename Fulcrum, it just says level 20 plus, because it'll be a 20, 40, 60, 80 event. So it does not have a requirement for your characters, I believe.
Okay, so the flash event will work like credit heist in that regard with the attempts.
Right, it's exactly like the credit heist. You got to pick whichever tier, and you get a couple attempts on it. So you want to do the one that's highest. And if you fail, it doesn't count against you.
Okay, got you.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's everything. We got most of the questions answered. It was fun to have a bunch of people on. I loved having all the patrons on. If you don't know what Patron is, it's essentially a support organization that allows for people who are in these kinds of situations to collect a little bit of money from a lot of people. That pool of money is able to make somebody have some money that they can use to invest into what it is that they're doing, whatever business that is. For me, it's this YouTube channel that I'm currently doing as a hobby on the side, but it's fast growing. If you like this channel and you want it to continue moving forward, and you want to continue to see the growth and development, such as the back screen, you know, I've got this green screen behind me. This green screen and all these lights that I've got out here, it's all thanks to my patrons. They're supporting me. Some at, you know, $5 a month, some at 10. I have a couple of people supporting me at $100 per month, which blows my freaking socks off that they would do that. Big Dog does that, and Red Wing Zero does that. And so I've got a bunch of people at $20. They're a super supportive community. And the one thing I was told by my patrons that they said I should probably mention in a video at some point is they said, you've got a ridiculously good community. Like, the community isn't me. The community is them. And they are ridiculously awesome. And so when people join Patreon, they get into this community and they go, Warrior, what the heck? Like, you've got one of the best communities in the entire game. Why don't you talk about that more? And they're right. That's exactly, I should be talking more about that. I think you get caught up in roster reviews and everybody thinks it's all about that. That's a side benefit. That's a side perk, right? We give you guys early access to videos so you can comment first and see them first. We give you guys a private Discord server chat where you guys can talk and we can Theorycraft. We've got multiple channels for Galactic War and for whatnot. But the community is just a group of fun individuals that get together, and there's men and there's women, and we chat and we socialize and we have fun. It's mostly almost always PG or PG-13. So we have a really, really great time. And then also, just side note, a bunch of these guys are also in the Facebook page, like Tommy. Most everybody, the 30,000 people in there, know Tommy really well from Dark Lords. He helps as many people as he can. And I've got people like that, and Donkey Teeth, which a lot of people know. He's probably going to be changing his name soon because everybody knows him now. But he's a super amazing community manager. Essentially, he helps people find guilds, and he's going to be pissed I said this on public, but he does a great job with that. And so anyway, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my patrons and this community. If you're looking for a community and you have that time in your life where you're capable of supporting, you know, $5 or something like that, hop in. You know, if you can't, I'm not worried about it. Don't you be worried about it. Continue just to watch, share the videos with your guildmates, and subscribe to the channel so you get all my content. As always, I'm going to leave you guys today with my famous saying, and all you guys can say it. Everybody who's on, George, Mark, and Tommy, Warriors.
Out.
Out.
Out.